Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the strongest pocket monster in each of Pokemon's 9 generations. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Dragonite, Pokemon Red and Blue. If you're wanting a Pokemon that is an absolute tank, Dragonite is the best option for you. Heck, Dragonite is the best Pokemon you could possibly have in your team. For starters, its 2 passive abilities, Multiscale and Inner Focus, reduce damage of the first attack taken and prevent Dragonite from flinching ever. On top of that, Dragonite boasts some incredibly high stats, particularly in attack, special attack, and special defense. Combine all of that with its only weakness being ice-type moves, and Dragonite is one adorable dragon that will intimidate anybody. Tyranitar, Pokemon Gold and Silver. This is one Pokemon that is bound to give players a migraine. Tyranitar can be an absolute beast on the battlefield due to the high stats it wields, however, those stats are the least of your concerns. No, what truly makes Tyranitar a force to be reckoned with, despite being weak to several types, is its Sandstream ability. In addition to granting Tyranitar higher defense, it also whips up a Sandstorm, damaging Pokemon at the end of every turn, and it lasts for the entire fight. Before Gen 4, Tyranitar was the only Pokemon that would ever receive this move, and it made fights literal torment, making Tyranitar the most busted Pokemon in Gold and Silver. Salamence, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Oh, you thought Rayquaza was gonna be on here? Yeah, we thought so too, until we looked into Salamence. Here's the thing about Salamence. This monster basically tells your opponent they are not allowed to play the game. They're done. This Pokemon packs a lot of power in attack and speed, which should already put you on guard. That's not all though. Salamence comes with the Intimidate and Moxie abilities, lowering its opponent's attack while boosting its own after every Pokemon it knocks out. And given that Dragon type still had very few weaknesses in Gen 3, all of this made Salamence practically broken. Garchomp, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Again, you thought a legendary was going to be on here, like Giratina? No! Like Dragonite, Garchomp can quickly succumb to Ice-type attacks, assuming your Pokemon is at an appropriate level. But considering it's a Ground-type Pokemon, well, there's no reason for this dude to be as fast as it is. Garchomp boasts the ability Rough Skin, which makes it insanely tough to inflict damage from moves that require direct contact. What you should really be afraid of is a Garchomp equipped with Sandstorm. Should Garchomp rile up a Sandstorm, it's all over. Garchomp's Sandforce and Sandveil abilities grant it increased attack power and agility until the storm subsides, although you'll most likely be done for before then. Excadrill, Pokemon Black and White. Yet another Ground-type Pokemon makes the list here, and it shows just how devastating Sandstorm can really be. Excadrill is a unique Ground-type Pokemon due to how it is totally resistant to Poison and Electric-type attacks, and renders moves like Poison Spore and Thunder Wave totally mute. What's worse is not Excadrill's Sand Rush ability or its Sand Force ability either. No, it's Mold Breaker, which acts as a total veto of whatever its opponent's abilities allow it to ignore. So if Excadrill wants to use Earthquake, Fissure, or Magnitude on a Pokemon with Levitate, that Pokemon is likely going down. Aegislash, Pokemon X and Y. A living sword being the most overpowered Pokemon? Yeah, makes sense. Aegislash is the most busted Pokemon of Gen 6, and it takes just one competitive match to see why. The unique thing about Aegislash is that depending on the moves it uses, it will switch between one of two forms, both of which will drastically alter its stats the second it changes forms. In Sword form, Aegislash will boast substantially high attack power. In Shield form, the defense is so high that you'll be lucky to land moderate damage. This Pokemon was so overpowered that future installments featuring Aegislash dramatically decreased these buffs. Wishiwashi, Pokemon Sun and Moon. Alone, Wishiwashi is child's play, no more of a challenge than your run-of-the-mill Magikarp. However, you'll only fight Wishiwashi in that form if you can even get through its school form. Upon entering a fight, Wishiwashi automatically goes into its school form, giving it a substantial increase in power. To make matters worse, Wishiwashi's school form completely ignores Skill Swap, Roleplay, Worry Seed, Simple Beam, Doodle, Gastro Acid, Core Enforcer, Neutralizing Gas, and Entrainment. All moves that could put Wishiwashi in a compromising position and lower its attack power if it was vulnerable to that. If you can sustain its high offense and get it down to a quarter of its HP, perhaps you can land the final blow before it can regain health and get back in its school form. Zacian, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Funny how out of all of the legendary Pokemon across all 9 generations, Zacian is the only legendary to be considered the strongest of its generation. The face of Pokemon Sword is a far bigger threat than its Pokemon Shield counterpart on account of its high stats in speed and attack. Plus, considering it's a fairy type, your only chance of super effective attacks is to employ poison type and steel type moves. But here's the real kicker. Gigantamaxing or Dynamaxing your Pokemon is not going to do anything. Zacian has an ability called Intrepid Sword, which boosts its attack stat at the start of the fight. Zacian also has access to a move called Behemoth Blade, which by itself inflicts double the damage against Giganta or Dynamaxed Pokemon. Yeah, don't even try it, man. Palafin, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Didn't think we would end with something like a funny looking penguin, but here we are. Believe it or not, Palafin is the most powerful Pokemon in all of Gen 9, despite what its goofy appearance may imply otherwise. It's almost like calling Wobbuffet the god Pokemon. The main reason for this, though, is because of its hero form. While its Zero form holds some decent values in its stats, Palafin in hero form receives a major boost in attack, defense, and both of the special stats. The only caveat to properly capitalizing on this form depends on when you switch out Palafin from battle, so make sure you aren't wasting too much time and energy on the quick swapping. Have you succumbed to any of these powerful Pokemon? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great videos every day.